Hello, everybody. It's week 3 of 10 weeks of receiving a fucking body process. And if you don't know what that is, it is this really fun 10-week challenge. And it's really just an invitation for your body to receive more and receive more of the magic of the gift of these amazing access consciousness body processes. And today I'm here with a very, very special woman, magical, potent, freaking creator, brand new 3-day body facilitator, Miss Heather Nichols. Thanks for being
Yay.
here.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. And yes, it's like official as of yesterday, basically, that I'm a 3D body facilitator now. So
Love
very
it.
exciting. Yeah.
Brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I really asked you to be here to really just kind of one congratulate you because this is exciting,
Thank
right?
you.
I got to be there behind the scenes on some of the journey.
Let me rephrase that and say you were a massive contribution to the journey. So, just a little shout out and a gratitude moment for you.
Happy to contribute. And also ask you what you know about bodies in general. And how did the gift of the body processes contribute to that journey? Because are you the fastest person who's ever done the prereqs? Am I making that up?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea. I did do it very fast. I don't know if I'm trying to find a spot that I think I might have to go inside actually. I don't know how fast it's been done before, but yeah, I did it pretty quick. It's facilitating 60 different classes, each with a single body process, to 6 or more people. And yeah, I just chose it and ran with it and asked people to contribute. And, a lot of amazing people like you contributed and we did it. So it was super cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what actually contributed to you choosing it?
I kind of I just had always wanted to do that because I love the body processes. I mean, I had I have some really amazing stories of change in my own life from what the body processes created. When I first found access, I had really severe seasonal allergies. I had pretty chronic low back pain.
Mhm.
Um, and I had done everything. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I live in we call it the therapy theme park of the world. There's everything there. And my joke is I had been on every table in Boulder, every massage table in Boulder, receiving energy work and whatever. And things worked a little bit to change what was going on with my body, but not in a huge way. And I just knew there was something different that was available. Um, and I started receiving the body processes, and my allergies just disappeared, out of the blue. Totally just went away without me really doing anything other than just running the energies of these processes. And then the back pain that I had, and that was pretty chronic, pretty severe at times. After one body process one day, it was gone. Um, and so to me, it was like this. The processes started to show me what I knew about, that what I had known about bodies and what was possible with bodies was actually possible. It was the first thing I had found where I was like, yeah, magic. We should be able to just change our cells and our molecules energetically, And lo and behold, we can. And these processes are a huge part of doing that. So that's, I guess, yeah, you asked me why, like what inspired me to become a body facilitator. Um, it was that. I mean, I had a, kind of a love affair with the body processes from the get-go, and such gratitude for what they contributed to me. And then, yeah, just wanted to share those with people. And I started and then I stopped and I thought it was too hard. And then I just finally was like, I'm doing this, you know? So that's when it occurred.
The gift of choice, right?
Yes,
Like, and what can show up when we fully choose something.
totally. And I hadn't fully chosen it because I had, people can hear, there's a podcast that I did that like goes through everything, like kind of how we created it and what showed up along the way. So people can listen to that it's on my website, heathernichols.com. But if they want to hear more about that, but it was really like like allowing the processes to contribute, allowing the bodies to contribute, and asking other people to contribute. And they all did.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like sometimes we can ask for something and not actually believe it's possible. And when we're willing to totally receive it, like that's when the magic shows up, and it can happen far faster and far greater than we can even possibly imagine.
Totally. Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
So, like, I know you have this amazing story about all sorts of different things you've played with bodies over the years.
Yeah.
Um, and the access body processes are also like a part of that. What one of the things I love about the body processes is you can receive them and learn them in a few different ways, right? You can go to an individual body process class,
Mm-hmm.
which we just had tons of those, right, over the last 6 months. There's absolutely no prerequisites, so anyone like fresh off the street can come and receive the magical gift of a body process.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other ways they can receive them too in an Access Consciousness class. For those of you who aren't, I know we're live in the Access North America group, but I'm sharing this in the private group as well on my page and whatnot. So if you're not totally familiar with the tools of Access Consciousness, it's an amazing set of pragmatic tools that can really just allow you to know that you are the source of the creation of your life, and you can change anything in any moment just like that if you're willing to truly choose it and willing to truly change it. And so there's a couple of other classes that you can go to where you can also receive these body processes. They do have prerequisites, one of them called the foundation, which you have a foundation coming up. Little plug there, starting September 16th through the 19th. You can take it online from anywhere in the world, or come to Boulder, Colorado and take it right here, be with Miss Heather live and in the flesh. And then there's the 3-day body class, right, which you can now facilitate.
Yeah.
Actually approved for that coming up October 6th through the 9th?
7th
through the 9th. And so there's all these different ways that you can sort of like play with the body processes, receive them, learn them. I just lost my total train of thought and where I was going with that there, which happens sometimes with energy speak, right? It's like squirrel and something else is coming in.
Yeah. Well, I love that because they're really meant to be generously shared. These aren't energies that are like coveted and hidden, and it's like these are energies. The processes are energies that are available to our bodies to invite our bodies to something different, and also I would say like remind our bodies of what they already know that is beyond this reality, like energies we haven't experienced before or perceived before. And for me, there's this sense of like every time I have a body process run, there's this reminder. It's like my body's like, oh yeah, that, yes, oh, home, and my body gets to be greater. And as my body is greater, my life is greater. Everything that I'm creating gets greater. Like it's just such a contribution to everything. And you can take an individual body process class, like you said, no prerequisites. I had this happen many times when I was doing those 60 classes. People would kind of like walk off the street and into a class, maybe they found out about it an hour before and they didn't know anything about it before. And they were like, I'm going to do that, and they would come. And the beauty of the processes is, and as well as the bars, which is also a body process, but it's, has its own standalone class, is that you don't have to be an energy worker to do this stuff. Like you don't have to. And I oftentimes forget that people like don't know that, because you go into a bars class, you put your hands on someone's head, the bars run. You put your hands on somebody's body with a body process. You ask the process to run. You know what the process is. You ask it to run. There's a few things you learn in the classes, but you ask it to run and it runs on the body. Like it's that simple. And I think a lot of times people think it's I've heard people say, oh well, because I'll say, when you come to a class, you get to give and receive the process, whatever kind of a class it is, it's all hands on. And then people will go, well, but it probably isn't that good if it's somebody who's not been an energy worker before, but that's not how this works. And I think we forget that, that's not how this works. It has nothing to do with you being an energy worker. I mean, and I got to say, sometimes people that have a long history of being an energy worker, they bring a lot of constructs to it that we have to then kind of undo, So it's cool to have that, like, you literally can walk in off the street to one of these classes and just put your hands on somebody's body, ask the process to run, say the clearing statement, it runs, it doesn't mean it's going to be less potent because you're new. And I love the accessibility of that, and just what it creates for bodies. Like the world that I wish to live in and that I am creating is one where we have these energies, like they're part of our bodies, they're part of what our bodies know, and they're part of what we gift to each other generously and freely, because it really does create a different reality with embodiment on the planet, which is absolutely required right now.
Absolutely, especially after the last couple of years where there was like so much isolation and people
Yeah.
sort of had to like relearn how to be, letting go of all the things they thought they knew about what life was like, which was like
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, a war on bodies, I would say. Like there's definitely a war on bodies going on right now in the world, with the pharmaceutical industry and all the thing, you need something for everything,
Right.
injected or in your mouth or whatever. And it's like none of that acknowledges the brilliance and the beauty that bodies are, and the absolute, like, just the magical capacities and capabilities that our bodies have, that does not require chemical intervention. It just requires attention, presence, energy, and kindness.
Yeah. And I love what you said about like the whole coming home thing, because it
Mhm.
is sort of like that. It's like, oh yeah, I can change this. I do know this. I am already this. And
Yes,
that beautiful like gift and reminder of that. And then once we have like all these different energies run from the different processes, then our like it's like in our imprint, right? Like we know the energy that's always there and available.
absolutely. Yeah, your body becomes like your body just becomes greater, and it includes those energies the more you play with them. So now, like when I touch bodies now, it's like it's all there. And I may run a specific process, but like my body is such a different creature than most bodies in the world, because my body has so much of these energies, and it's such a gift. I mean, what I can create and change with my body is just, it's so magical. And that's true for anybody who plays with this stuff. It's going to be unique to each person, but it's really this opening of such a different reality.
I'm proof of that. Because I already like loved the body processes before anyway, and then having so many different energies run over that period of time, like so much has changed for me about the way I be with my body, about the way I navigate every area of my life, how I be in the world. It's like, whoa, I thought I got what body processes were before. Now I'm like, a whole new universe has opened up. Like, let's play more. What else is possible now? Like, truly.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, you were at every single class that I did in Boulder, and I don't know how many we did, but we did a lot. Like, I don't know, maybe 20 or something like that, or maybe even more. Um, and that's really, so you got to really receive that. It's so cool. And I know you do other stuff too. You facilitate, body processes and facelift and, other stuff. So, um, yeah, there's such a cool, cumulative effect, I would say, too, of all of the energies, that just can't really be like, I had someone we just did a 3-day body class this weekend. It was my last prerequisite to co-facilitate a 3-day body class before I could have a full license to do them by myself. And there was a lady there who had just taken about a 3-day body class, like, I don't know, maybe like a month ago or a few weeks ago or something like that. But she was like, of course I want more, like it's like 3 days of laying on a table and receiving and gifting and being in that space and having generative conversations about bodies is, I just think you can kind of never I personally can never get enough of it.
Agreed. Agreed. And like I know sometimes like it can seem like hard to set aside the time or make that kind of a commitment to choose it, especially in this like do world that we're in, right? Everything's about accomplishment and achievement and all that. And I would say like to me it's also this notion of like slowing down to speed up and like slowing down in that space, and then everything does get greater and faster and like so much easier by making that commitment. And like part of what happened for me too over that 6 months is like before it started I had made a demand in my world to receive more, like to truly receive more. And my body, my wonderful, amazing, magical body, created that without me like having to like consciously or cognitively think about it. To where sometimes we even had odd numbers in the classes, and then whoops, I had to receive for a long time from Heather. Darn it!
I'd be like, Jenny Lind, I guess I'm going to be running this process on you for like 3 hours. Okay, lay down.
What a terrible creation. And like it's so interesting because like we are lucky here in Colorado. We have tons of people who choose to play with the access tools, right? And there are people to trade with. But I'm even, no matter how much I know that these processes are magical, like would get busy and not necessarily create the time to trade. And so this was almost a way of like manipulating myself into like I'm receiving more, I'm choosing more, I'm having it. And like there's something about that demand, like making that demand in your world whenever you're
Yeah.
choosing anything. And then also like really honoring your body with like slowing down and letting go.
Yes. Yes. That is, I mean, it is this like universe of more receiving and more receiving and more receiving and more receiving. It's like, yeah. And to have that, like, you have to get present, with 3 days of, or even just a 3-hour exchange, like there is a level of presence that is required, and it's a muscle, it's a muscle that you have to, that you like strengthen. You don't have to strengthen it, but you do, but it does get stronger over time as you play more and gift the processes and receive them. And that's like the funny thing, the irony of it all is, of the receiving conversation, is that we think we don't have time to slow down and receive, because we think we have to do all these things to get what we want to get and to get us where we want to go, that you would actually get to so much faster with so much more ease if you actually received. But people are like, I don't have time for that because I have to work. And I'm like, okay, it's like, yeah, and you have your bars run, you have body processes run, like you prioritize receiving in your life. That's going to create what you're asking for way faster with way more ease than working more.
Right.
Always. I've seen it a million times in my own life and other people's lives. It's like, wow. And I'm at the point now where, like, when I'm working a lot and I'm working really hard, my receiving starts to kind of diminish. Like, and when I have like more space in my life and I'm not like do all the time, there's more of a receiving in my world. It's cool. So it's like, it's terrible.
Awful receiving, whatever will we do? It's way
Yeah.
too easy. It's not hard enough.
I know, exactly. And what's funny is that Gary Douglas and Dane Here and Simone Milasas and Grace Douglas, they do advanced body process classes. And every time I have taken an advanced body class, and I would say this about the 3-day body class as well, my business grows. Like my business just starts to grow, and like what I'm creating grows in ways that I did, like it's not because I'm busier or working more or working harder. It just grows because I'm receiving more and I'm including my body more in creation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you'd like more money or greater relationships or whatever, more of whatever you're asking for.
Yeah. Don't do body processes.
Yeah, that.
Don't go to a body class.
Or even foundation, because there's body processes in the foundation.
Yeah, we do 3 processes in foundation, and we so if you come to Boulder, I mean, if you're in a class live, you do them actually on tables. You get on tables and you exchange. And if you do it online, you can run it on yourself, which is a beautiful thing about the processes too. And it's always way more dynamic if somebody runs it on you. But you can run it on yourself during class and then go find someone after class and run it with them. That's a great thing to do. So, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Any last thing you would love to let people know, like in your world, a little bit about what you know about bodies, or invite them to?
Oh, I would just say, what is it that you know about what's possible with bodies and your body that you haven't allowed yourself to have, to know, to receive? And what if it actually is possible? And you just, it's not about figuring out how you're going to achieve it. It's like, what would be a gift to your body? And as you gift to your body, you gift to your life, your world, your creations, yourself, the world. And those things just start to show up.
I love that.
Yeah.
Super yummy. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for playing. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We'll pop all the links down in the comments as soon as I get off, so you can check out if you want to know more about Heather's amazing adventure in becoming a 3-day body facilitator. That's on her website with the podcast you mentioned earlier. So we'll put that link down there, as well as the upcoming foundation and 3-day body classes. Come and play. Yeah. And there's also tons available all around the world as well if you can't get to Boulder.
There's some really amazing body facilitators all over the planet. Some really people that have a lot of unique capacities with bodies. So it's cool to play with lots of different people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now we have another amazing one. Yay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.